Now let's take a look at things from the student perspective. First of all, devices. All K-12 students will have Chromebooks issued to them. That means we need to start issuing Chromebooks to grades K through 3. And the current plan is to do that before school starts. And just in case you didn't know, devices, whether students are at school or if they're at home, they will always be filtered. Now let's talk a little bit about logging in. Our K through 2 students will be able to log into a Chromebook with their Clever badge. When students come to pick up their Chromebook before school starts, they will also be issued a lanyard. On one side of that lanyard, they'll have their barcode. That barcode will be able to be used to purchase lunches instead of using the fingerprint scanner, and it can also be used in the library to check out books. On the other side of that lanyard for our K-1-2 kiddos, they'll also have their Clever badge so they can easily log into their Chromebook whether they're at home or at school. So let's talk a little bit about those Clever badges. If you go to this website, as a teacher, all you have to do is click on the Classes button, the title of your class, and click the Download Badges button. After that, you're going to be able to print those, and you'd want to do that single-sided on cardstock. And I would bookmark that website if you haven't done so already. If you'd like a little bit more information, you can simply go to bit.ly/CamisClever and see the full Google Doc on what each screenshot looks like. Once you log into the Clever portal with your Google login, you can click on Classes, the title of your class, and Download Class Set of Badges. That's going to download, and now you can open that and print it single-sided on cardstock. If you only need to print one badge or have a student that's having issues logging in, you can simply navigate to that student's name and download a single badge for that student, or you can also void an old badge if something was stolen. You can also click Get Backup Code, and this is a code you could give a student that they could simply type in and get logged in if they were having any issues at home. This would be a great time to pause the video, go to the website for Clever Badges, bookmark it, and just explore a bit. Something we've been working on this summer is the Clever Portal. It's a landing page that works for students. We'll be bookmarking it shortly, and it does work for staff as well. When somebody logs into that portal, it's going to personalize a website for them based on their grade, their school, any classes they're registered for, and it's going to bring up a series of apps and links specific to that user. In some cases, students will already be logged in, and in some cases, they're going to need to log in once, and then it's going to remember those usernames and passwords. The website is listed here, and like I said, we're going to be making that the home page for students shortly, but staff can go to it as well at any time and just log in with Google. So this screen is what it looks like if I'm a third grader logged into Clever for Helen Baller. So you're going to see the district website, the school website, and any additional websites that are listed. Those do not require any logins. Next, you're going to see core material. For K-1-2, instead of Google Classroom, they're going to see Seesaw. When they click on that, they can log in with Google, which they've already done with their badge, so it's a pretty easy process for them. Now, anything with a question mark tells them a little information. In some situations, we can't automatically put their username and password, so it gives you a little bit of login information, or if you use any of the Math Learning Center apps, it just tells them to open the web app. They don't need to download the Chrome extensions. And we're still exploring this a little bit, trying to find out the best way to log into things like Worldbook. But we're continuing to build this out and then listing some extras, some of those fun things students might want to do on their own time. But this is the Clever portal. So here I am logged into the Clever portal as a teacher. And if I go to Homeroom, here I can see all of the apps and links available to my students. I can create another level for them by clicking Add and making a page. When I make a page, I can click on that and edit student sharing. And here's where I can make these links just available for me, available to one of my classes or all of my classes. This is where I can also then add different links to websites or different apps. So we can go into this in more detail as we begin to roll this out a little bit further. But for right now, we're just trying to get basic apps available to students so that they can start using this week 1. This would be a great time to pause your video, pop over to the Clever portal, and explore. You already bookmarked it when you bookmarked the badges page, but now you're checking out the homepage section. Before I turn this over to Carmen to look at how students complete activities in Seesaw, I wanted to cover a couple of things about troubleshooting. One would be when a student's logging into a Chromebook, if they do not have the option to log in with their Clever badge, you're going to want to do a help ticket and please include the serial number and barcode of that Chromebook. There is something on the back end in our Google admin console that we need to turn on for any K12 devices so that it gives them that Clever option. Another problem that you might come across would be if a badge does not allow a student to log in. Usually, what happens is that's related to their email in Skyward not being correct. Sometimes we have students with more than 20 characters, or they have hyphens in their name, or we've had another student with that same name in our district. So, if you just let me know that student's login, I can go ahead and try to fix Skyward so that it matches their Google login, and then you'll need to print a new badge. The last issue that probably will not come up too much for K12 would be a student needs their password reset. And you do have the ability to reset any passwords for your students by going to this website. And you do need to be on a district device on the district internet. And that could be logging in with the VPN. And you'll be able to then go to that website and reset student passwords. If you reset a student password, they will need a new badge, but that one really should not happen very often, if at all. This would be a great time to pause the video and go and bookmark the password reset website. You might not ever need it, but it does come in really handy in a pinch. So now I'm going to turn it over to Carmen to look at how students complete their activities.
So, student responses. First, they'll have to find their assignment, which could mean that they'll have to toggle between their two classes that they will have. The first one is your homeroom class, and that will be you and any co-teachers that you've put into your class, such as the lab teacher, the title teacher, the special ed teacher, maybe the ELL teacher. Anyone who needs to see their academic work can be added as a co-teacher to your homeroom class. They'll also have a specialist class, and that will be for library, music, and PE to assign their activities to the kids and be able to find their work from them a little more easily. The students can toggle between those classes by clicking on this upper left corner, selecting the name of the class. You can see I have several classes here. They will just have two, and deciding which class it is they want to complete an activity from. Once they get there, they'll click on the Activities tab, and all of the activities that you've assigned to them will show here. They'll be able to scroll through them. When you assign them, if you want them to be done in a certain order, then you need to assign them in that reverse order. Then, once they've completed that activity, those activities will fall off of their feed, and then they know that they've completed their work for the day. There are two ways to post their work. The first is to respond to an activity that you've assigned them through the activity library, or they can just post straight to the journal using any of the tools that they've chosen. If they're responding to an activity, they'll first click on their Activities tab, then they'll find the right activity and click on the green Add Response button. The template that you've put into that, if you've had a template, will show up, or the creative tools will show up. They'll complete the directions, and if they forget the directions, they can always click here at the top and it will show them the directions, or if you've put voice instructions in there, they will also be able to listen to them there. And when they're finished with their work, they'll click on the green check. Now, if they need to return to it later, if something comes up and they have to leave their work midway, they can always click on the orange check, which will leave it as a draft and they can return to it later. When they do click on the green check, it will prompt them to select the class that they want to assign it to and the folder that they want to assign it to. So they just need to select the correct ones from those. Posting to the journal means that they will tap the Journal tab and then that Add button, not the Add Response, just the plain Add button. They will select Post Student Work, and then they'll get those creative tools again to be able to choose what they would like to use to respond to your instructions. When they finish that work, They will tap the green check again or the draft if they need to come to it. If they need to add more pages to their post, they'll just click here on the Add Pages tab. Again, they'll need to select the appropriate class, and they'll need to possibly put it in a folder depending on how you've set it up. The Reflect in Seesaw Chrome extension is a new extension that is pretty amazing. It allows them to capture parts of a website and put that directly into Seesaw so that they can reflect on it, annotate, add video, add their own thoughts to it, and really be able to get that higher level thinking based on an outside link that you have taken them to. So that Chrome extension will automatically be loaded onto their Chromebook. It looks like the little seesaw icon. And once they get to the website, they will click on that, and then they will be asked to choose whether they want to capture all of the visible area or just a selected part of the visual of the area. So I'm going to go hop out and show you that. I'm in here. I'm in a Seesaw class. I've done a website search for a lily, and I really love this lily. So I'm going to click on the Seesaw icon. I'm going to capture a selected area, and it will pop that right into a blank Seesaw post. Then I can use any of the creative tools to add to that thinking. If I found some text that I liked, I would again click on the Seesaw extension, click on Capture Selected Area, and then highlight what I wanted to select, and it would pop it right into Seesaw. So there was that lily, and then I popped it in there, and there's that text example. And then they can use those creative tools to mark it up however they want to. Like here, I said I found some rhyming words, and I highlighted those with the highlight tool. And then I said, I noticed there are no periods. I wonder why. So we could have that discussion about poetry and the different rules for poetry. And then I made this connection to the outside world of this poem makes me picture this in my mind. For some support materials, there are lots and lots and lots of things out there for you to explore. Here are some links to some things that I found really useful, some student printables that are like at-a-glance cheat sheets, some icon posters that you could print and put up in your classroom, and then there's more Seesaw printables at this link.